You know, for the longest time, I wanted to keep this as low profile as possible, so I did not do anything as far as a rear rack. But today, I think I'm going to change that thanks to my friends at Kemimoto. Yeah, I'm thinking about changing my tune as far as a rear rack situation goes, especially for a supermoto setup, but I'll get into that a little bit later on. First, again, I'd like to thank Kemimoto for providing me this. This is a specific rack for the CRF450L, 450RL, and what we're going to do in this video is unbox everything, take a look at all the hardware, instructions, whatnot in the box, and we're going to install it, test it out, see how it looks. So first, let's unbox this thing, see what we're looking at, what we're working with here. And there shouldn't be too much involved in this. In fact, I think this is pretty much it. Okay, we got some instructions, of course. One of the first things in here, bunch of hardware. And of course, the rack itself. Off the bat, this actually looks really, really good. Everything is nice and powder coated. It's hefty. Not aluminum, steel. Definitely will have the rigidity, that's for sure. And we'll take a look at the hardware here. There's going to be a whole slew of bolts and washers. So I probably should have put this on my bench and not use the bike as a bench. That was kind of dumb. So previously I didn't want to have a rear rack on my bike because this bike is in supermoto trim, which means it's a street bike. I don't really need that much storage. I'm not really taking it out on long trips, overnighters, anything like that where I need to carry lots of stuff. I do occasionally do that, and this will be very helpful for that, but primarily I just wanted to have some little small storage solutions that would just carry a couple of small tools just in case. So for a long time, I had a small fender bag placed on the back plastic here. Now that was drilled directly into the plastic and just held little bits of tools and things like that that I might need, and it worked well for a time. But if you saw my suspension series, and particularly the last episode of that where we were testing it over big bumps, you could see that the weight of the fender bag and just the pressure on this plastic, it was ripping this thing off, and if it wasn't attached with the seats, it would have come off completely. It's to the point now where this plastic is barely hanging on by a thread. The tab here that goes behind the brake light, I've had to bend that back so many times that it's not going to take any weight at all next time I put anything on this. If I were to put anything on this, this plastic is done for. And so with this rack in particular, which you'll see in the install, this does not touch the plastic at all. There are a lot of racks that you can get for the CRF450L, and I was considering a lot of them, but in the designs that they had, a lot of them were either like the fender bag where they were 100% drilled into this plastic, which means if you hit a bump and your plastic goes off, then your rack goes with it, or the racks were like a 50-50 where it was kind of bolted into the seat and also bolted into the plastic. But again, if this thing breaks and starts peeling off, then what's it to stop from the rack just doing the exact same thing? So let's get straight into install. This is going to be super easy. First thing, because it does utilize these seat bolts, we're going to take this out. Here's the original seat bolt, and basically what they have in the hardware is this replacement, which has a nice little spacer here, so that way it allows to sit in where this bolt would be and gives plenty of space for the actual rack to be mounted on this end. So we'll do the back side first. We're going to put the spacer in where the original bolt will go for the seat here. Then we got our extended bolt, and we will thread that all the way through. There it is. All right, so we got those roughly in place. It's tilty. Now we got to get the bottom half. Now we make our way underneath the fender to finally connect the last two bolts in the back of the rack. In order to do that, Kemimoto provides a couple of brackets to do so. There's going to be two of them, and they're going to be mirror images of each other, one for each side. And you can look at the instructions to make sure which one goes where, but it's pretty obvious in the orientation that it shows. There's also one side that has a slotted hole, as you can see right here, and the other side has this round hole on a 90-degree angle. So this one right here with the single circular hole, that's going to line up with the rack on this bracket right here. And then this slotted hole is going to be put in right here on this back bolt that holds the license plate bracket. So basically all you have to do is unthread this bolt, and same on the other side. Then we'll thread on this bracket here with a longer bolt that Kemimoto provides. Then it'll line up with this bracket right here, and then we'll use another bolt and nut to thread it onto this, and we'll be done. Simple as that. So now everything is in place, but obviously it's all very loose because you want to make sure that all the bolts are at least started first, and then you can start tightening things up. So I think I'm going to tighten the seat bolts first and then kind of move my way back here and tighten everything up, and we'll be done. And there we have it, a complete and full install. That was super easy because besides the rack itself, it's literally just 6 bolts and 2 brackets. 4 of those bolts you're just replacing with hardware that they provide on the bike. So again, super simple. And again, I love the design of this because it does not require you to drill into the plastic or mount to the plastic. I feel like that really hinders a lot of the other aftermarket rear racks for this bike, where it's requiring you to either drill through this, which requires more time and effort, or mounting to it, which I think causes a hindrance because, like I said, at least in my case, my experience, I found that this thing gets really fatigued when it has a lot of weight on it. And if you break this plastic and your rear rack is mounted on that plastic, then your rear rack's going with it and whatever else is mounted to it. I feel like that's a no-go. This one, on the other hand, is mounted in 4 different places to actual thread points on structural parts of the bike, the seat and underneath the license plate bracket. So everything is nice and secure. This thing is not moving anywhere. And if I lose my plastics, I'm not losing my rack. Special thank you again to Kemimoto for providing me this and allowing me to install it and test it out. And if you are interested in getting one of these yourself, please take a look at the link in the description below. See you next time.